Hey guys, how's it going? Ezekiel the Barber back with another video for you. Thank you for tuning in. So today we have a really good one. This guy has a crazy love for mama, as you can see. Family, gotta love it. So today's haircut is gonna be a kid's haircut. We're gonna do a one on the side with a shear trim on top. Okay, my little guy's looks like he's ready to go. We'll go ahead and get started right into the haircut. Starring a super cool client and family. I've been cutting this young guy for a little while now. Been cutting his brothers for years. So really good family here. Really blessed with the opportunity to be able to cut them. So we're gonna use, as you can see, the one clip. We're gonna start our first guideline with that guard or clip. So we'll just set this guideline all the way around. Always wanna keep the ear out of harm's way. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You just want to follow whatever same guideline you set all the way around. Sometimes I like to do a drop. This time I'm just gonna go straight back with this guideline. So all the way around, it's just gonna go pretty much straight back, and I just want that one length all the way even on this bottom guideline. So, you know, we'll basically do this all the way around. Just kind of get a fast forwarded version there. I'll slow it back down eventually so you can see some of the strokes. Thought it was definitely very important for people to see the actual strokes. Just kind of walk you through the process. Right here, I'm using a 3.5 metal guard, as you can see. Now, this could be a straight 3. It could be, you know, even a 4 guard. I just wanted to jump from the 1 to the 3.5 because this is a guard that I purchased while in barber school. So, I mean, it's really close to the equivalent of a 3. But I just like to use this for my next step. So I went from a 1 to the 3.5. Now I'm basically gonna take this 3.5 metal clip and go straight up. Now, kind of in this ridge of his head is known as the parietal ridge. So where his head separates from the side to the top, there's a ridge, and it's called the parietal ridge. So we like to go straight up right around that parietal ridge, right in the area that I'm kind of in now, all the way around the crown of his head. That's kind of where the parietal ridge extends to. So you just want to go straight up. You don't want to dig that guard in unless that's the look that you're looking to go for, you know? Say like a faux hawk or something, where it kind of gets a little bit more aerodynamic. It kind of rolls into that top a little bit. And then it might be a little safe to do something like that. But for all other cuts, I just like to simply go straight up. You can see it there, just straight up. Not too far into the top of his head. Just right along the side. So now you can see where the first guideline and the second guideline clearly sits. There's the 1, and then on the top of that is the 3.5. So now we're gonna go to the Andis Masters cordless clipper. I have the 1 guard on, setting my 3rd guideline. I'm going about 1 inch up. I like to go anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch up, depending on the haircut. Now, the clipper lever is all the way open, meaning that the cutting blade, the moving blade, is the furthest away from the still blade. So it's not gonna give you a bald look. It's more or less gonna give you like the equivalent to like a 1. But keep in mind, I already have the 1 guard on there. So it kind of helps out in this case, transitioning into that 3. So once I set my guideline, my mission is to just bump out the bottom line. So whenever you set a guideline, you'll see kind of like a bottom line. You want to close the clipper up and just attack right at the bottom line. Now, you don't really want to go too high once you erase the bottom line, because then you're going to bring the fade up, you're going to erase the fade. So once you set your guideline, The bottom line from the guideline that you set, you just simply erase that by closing the clipper all the way up and attacking that bottom line, and just stay in that small region. So I'll use a combination of opening and closing the clipper just to fade everything. The closer that I am to the top of his head, I'll open that clipper. The closer that I am to the bottom, where that one is, I'll just close that clipper. And keep in mind, I do already have a 1 guard on, so it's not like I have a 0 guard on this cordless clipper when I used a 1 metal. You always want to keep everything in sequence to kind of what you used previously. So if I used a 1 metal, I want to probably use a 1 plastic in that same region. So it just keeps everything kind of on the same page. Now right here, it's time for a little shear work. I like to spray a little water, just kind of make sure it gets in the hair really good. You don't have to soak it too much, but definitely I like to get some water in there to kind of help everything pull together when I cut it. Keeps all the hair together. All right, so this young man likes to do a comb over, so I like to set his guideline in the nature of that type of haircut. So meaning I'll comb his hair over, whatever sticks over the side, I'll basically cut that off. They just like just enough to comb over on this particular client. So I cut his hair basically just to where it's enough to comb over, leave it long enough to be able to create the comb over as well. And then sometimes I'll do a little bit of texturizing to make it a little easier to comb over. So these are the techniques that I use, the way that I angle my hands, position my hands, very critical into achieving this cut, making sure that everything goes right. Just finding that guideline and following that all the way around the head, okay? Always want to keep those shears out of harm's way from your clients. All right, just double checking my work, finding that guideline, just making sure that it's consistent all the way around the head. So very important to double check your work. So if you're cutting north and south, you can literally double check your work by going east and west. So pretty simple there. Once you get the concept, find the guideline, make everything meet. So once you find your guideline, you just grab a portion of the hair that hasn't been cut, a portion that has been cut, and make all the guidelines meet. That's an open clipper. That lever's all the way open. So I'm just gonna take that with the 3 guard, even though we use the 3.5 metal. I just see a few areas that needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. So we use the 3.5 metal. We're back to the 3 plastic open on the masters. So these are basically the same lengths. So as you can see, you can achieve, you know, a really good look or still get the job done with whatever guard, as long as it's still consistent with the length. Even though it was a 3.5 metal, this is a 3 plastic with the lever all the way open, still giving me approximately a 3.5 in length. So it should be just fine. So we want to attack that weight that I see. Just want to kind of clean up those dark areas. Now, haircuts are always a work in progress, just like life. So you have to kind of work at certain areas, chisel out certain areas of the haircut, just to kind of get everything smooth as everything else or the way you like it. And as you see, I'm going in a few different directions. Very critical in cutting hair. Yeah, you want to kind of cut in every direction when you're setting these guidelines, because hair does grow in every direction. So you want to make sure that every hair is the same length. Right, this guy, really good young man here. I mean, kids hardly ever sit this calm and, you know, really this cool collective. So I really like this guy. Thank you so much for not making my job that much more harder. So the clip that I'm using now is the 2-guard. It's called a Speedo clip. I'm using the, there's a 3-0, a 2-0, and then the next one. That's this clip, which is equivalent to a 2 clip. So as I told you before, we would go back to the 2-guard and clean up any areas that I, felt like I should have used that 2-guard in. Now, as you can see, I didn't even use it that long. That cut is already pretty much coming together. I just used it to clean up some of the dark areas that the 3 necessarily wouldn't cut. So right now I'm using the Babylis trimmers. Just doing a little edge up work, keeping everything clean, outlining his haircut. You don't ever have to go really hard. I like to use these angles, especially when cutting young kids. Now these clippers are really good clippers, so I just kind of guide them and let them do their job. But you just want to go really soft. Definitely kids this small have really sensitive skin. So you definitely want to be really, soft on your touch. And it doesn't require a lot. All right. So everything looks like it's coming together a little bit. Just have a few areas that we need to smooth out. So right here I'm doing the lineup. This is basically how I do it. Just giving you that up close and personal experience. When I first started this channel, I just wanted to educate people on how to cut hair. I went to barber school, of course, and not everybody was that went to barber school was successful in the barbershop. A lot of people just didn't have the steps or know how to do every haircut. So in turn, they spent thousands of dollars to no avail, and they were back working at whatever job they were working at before barber school, or went on to do other things in their lives. But some of these people definitely wanted to learn how to cut hair. So I definitely wanted to educate people. You definitely don't want to see that type of scenario out there a lot. People wasting thousands of dollars and not getting the education or getting into the work field that they desired. So I thought it was really important to kind of give people, some of the missing techniques or secrets that kind of, can bring their visions to life. So definitely thought education was key, especially for the young generation out there. They are the future. So any aspiring barbers just want to help out. We're doing that lineup with the Andis cordless trimmers. I like these trimmers as well as the Babylis trimmers. So definitely my go-tos when I do lineup work are my Andis cordless trimmers or my Babylis trimmers. Definitely really good clippers. So I'm just tapering the side going into his head. So I just have that clip all the way closed, which is gonna give like a bald look from his sideburn area. So I just wanna, since he likes to go with a taper on the sides and the back, I just wanna taper that in. And the way I do that is I start with the lever all the way closed on the Masters clipper. I go about a quarter of an inch up. I'll open that lever about halfway up, set my next guideline, go about another quarter of an inch up, open that clipper all the way up and set another guideline. So then you'll see 3 guidelines, and all you have to do is bump out the middle lines that you see from the guidelines. If it doesn't make sense now, it will eventually. Once you set the guidelines, the only thing that you need to do is bump out the bottom lines from the guidelines that you just set. So that's how you basically transition or create that transitional fade. All right, still doing a little edge up work. I like to go really soft. The lines will eventually get there, so you don't have to go hard. just making sure everything is nice and clean, going over my work. So I like to go over all the areas. Say if I use a 1, 2, and a 3, I'll just quickly go over all those steps just to kind of make sure that the haircut is that much cleaner before we're done. So I kind of always like to repeat my steps once I'm done, once the haircut is pretty much wrapped up. Just want to go over everything and make sure that everything is clean. Using the clipper over comb technique there. These are, the actual strokes. I'm attacking the hard lines, any dark weight that I see. Right, just want to clean up that line up a little bit more. And once again, a haircut is always, work in progress. So, sometimes you'll have to go over certain areas a few times just to make it look the way you want, just to make lines come out nice and clean. So it looks like everything's coming together here. Have that nice little boy's cut, looking pretty good there. Good job, buddy. So we'll just clean everything up here. All right. Everything's looking pretty good here. Just doing some more lineup work there. And you gotta love the family atmosphere. Once again, man, I've had the opportunity to cut this young fella up and his 2 young brothers. I've cut his young brothers up for years. My guy right there, up, looking fresh. Yes, sir. Picture perfect, my man. Got all the style. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I like to, once I finish my haircuts, clean any little neck hairs or anything up. And this is the technique that I like to use. I like to save this part for last. Just get any little finishing hairs, any little hairs that might take away from the haircut, any neck hairs, very important. Looks like everything is good to go there. So we'll just blow dry any loose hair off of him. Keep any loose hair or debris off your clients. Leave that hair in the barbershop. All right. So here we are here. Boom, got a little lineup for you. My man's ready. All right. All right, a little side view. All right, and he's good. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.